In the world of Nosgoth, there is much to be told and talked about as to who is at fault for the destruction of the world. While many point their fingers at Cain and some at Mobius, I don't see too many putting the blame on Ariel, despite the fact that she served as the catalyst for all the terrible events to transpire. So for this video, we're going to discuss just that. Get ready, lads. It's going to be good. First off with Ariel. For those who never played the games, well, she's a pillar guardian of balance. There. Now leave, plebs. Yeah, that's right. This video's over for you. Go play the games. Not joking. Blood Omen 1 is compatible on PC, so you won't need to do any technological stuff to it. Just get it working and go leave. Seriously. So now the real viewers are here. Let us talk about the unbalanced pillar guardian of balance, Ariel. Ariel served as the guardian of balance. Her role is to maintain a balance in all aspects of life, maintaining prosperity in check and nations at bay. The guardian Ariel was already failing as she engaged with people like Mobius, supporting his crusades against vampires, a foe who is being absolutely wiped out to near extinction of the entire world. There is no balance in that. Complete, utter annihilation of a group of people is just going to create a massive scale shift. Now, the reasoning for allowing this is not exactly her fault. Mobius and Mortanius both were zealous individuals, and being the oldest pillar guardians, they have the most influence. All the new guardians, they more or less groomed to conform with their beliefs. The second major issue with Ariel is that she's beautiful. She's a woman! No, I kid. That's not the issue. The real issue is that she engaged in romantic relationships, and more importantly, the relationship with that of another guardian. By engaging with a person in a romantic way, this would skew and destroy her perception of balance in the universe. I'm not saying that to be a pillar guardian is to that without love or any connection to human society, but to engage in connections while holding land-altering power is extremely dangerous. One must have extreme controls of their emotions and their own perceptions in order to not fall into calamity, especially since the Pillar Guardians can destroy far more than any mere man could ever destroy. Ultimately, the Pillar Guardians are human, and they are subject to the same human problems that you and I suffer from. The inability to let go, difficulty regulating emotions, the pains of loss. These coupled together all in one relationship is the perfect recipe for disaster, and something that the Balance Guardian Ariel should have known and foreseen, as her job is to find the trends, the potential good and evil of all things, and to try to balance them. Yet, here when it came to her own personal life, she failed. She failed egregiously. Now, the failing was not strictly on Ariel, mind you, for when Cain first meets Ariel, she even states how it's her lover, Nupraptor, that was obsessed with her and drove himself into madness. This is more or less her hinting that if Nupraptor had died, she would have potentially just gone by with her life without being too majorly affected. But this is pure speculation by her part, and us as the viewers, serving only to excuse her actions and even partaking in such a brash, reckless act of engaging with a man who's incapable of letting her go. Aside from love and personal relationships, one large thing that caused Ariel to become unbalanced was her manipulations of Cain. You see, in Blood Omen 1, when Cain meets Ariel for the first time, let me clue you in on a secret here. This is a Cain who does not care for the world. He just wishes for a sweet death after killing the men responsible for his death. Ariel here guides him, but she fails in one big way. She doesn't tell him who he is. You see, this is such a red flag of a failure, as this Cain, this young version of him, he wants to die. He actually wants to kill himself. He wants to rid himself of this vampire body, finding it as a disease, a monster. Yet she neglects to tell him. She could have groomed him and told him right then from the get-go that he can get himself out of hell if he does this pilgrimage, wiping out the Pillar Guardians, and then kills himself to restore balance to Nosgoth as he is the Pillar Guardian. That would have been his ticket to sacrifice. It would build up his ego as he is the greatest martyr the world has ever seen, how he revitalized the entire world, saving it from damnation, because he knew he was killing the Guardians as the Balance Guardian himself. But instead, she neglected to tell him, hoping that he would just blindly accept it when the Balance Guardian just throws it in his face and says, hey, I know it's been a whole year that you've been pretty much killing everybody, but now you need to kill yourself. Here you go. I get that on some level this is not her fault, as the vampire Vorador influenced Cain greatly, but the reason why his influence was so great was that Cain had no influence on why he should be happy for his humanity. Sure, he was well educated and a noble, but humanity only brought him an early grave, along with plotters that lack any sense of honor. Yet midway through his journey, someone finally gives him an identity to cling to, a pillar of his person that he can resonate with. For you see, to have all these identity components in your own life, but no aspect of it to really cling to, people don't really care for it. It's much like Italian Americans. Italian Americans, they love to say that they're Italian because they can cling and resonate with some of the Italian culture and virtues. But over time, when no one really talks about it, but all they keep talking about is the greatness of America, 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 all of a sudden they let go of that Italian heritage and they just don't care anymore. They resonate more with the American stuff because now they're finding aspects of their personality that they can resonate with. This is the same issue. If Ariel had given him a pillar to resonate with his identity as a Pillar Guardian, he could have resonated with it, saying, I'm restoring balance. Great, balance is being restored again. Yes, yes. I just killed another Guardian. Here comes more balance. Yes, I'm restoring the world piece by piece. But because she didn't do this, she failed in the most egregious way. I think it's rather obvious that smaller issues like people and relationships are really Ariel's limitations of her power. Her magic and her gift for balancing things in the world are just that. They're strictly tied to the world. Seems she lacks any grip on small everyday issues, how her actions personally can tip the balance in the life of a single man, only seeing how a nation as a whole can be destroyed and how the world, like William the Nemesis did, destroyed it. Yet he's unable to see how William's life was unbalanced because of Mobius's tampering. Ariel, for all of her preaching of balance, has many flaws with which she herself has caused the ultimate scale shift. Sure, she was manipulated by dark forces and couldn't stop herself from being murdered, but these do not dissuade the fact that she was, at her core, unbalanced, unable to see how her small failings in her personal life would ultimately bring the greatest unbalance the world has ever seen. By neglecting her responsibility as the guardian of balance, she resulted a masterful stroke that plunged the very world into hell. In this video, I've given some justification for why that is that she failed. But how about you, viewer? Do you think she was justified in her pursuits of rebalancing Nosgoth? To me, it seems that Ariel does not want to balance Nosgoth in her death as a ghost for entirely pure reasons. She seems to want it restored strictly to cover up her failings. She's quick to anger when Raziel talks to her about how she failed, and anytime that she's engaged in, it leads to this whole pillar collapse of how regretful she is and how she clings to hope that Cain will take all the blame and that by killing him in the future, that the broken pillars will somehow resurface and reform and repurify, despite the fact that they've already fallen into total disrepair. She's racked with regret, and rightfully so, and for that I say her punishment of eternal damnation is just fitting. She shall serve her whole eternity at the very pillar she failed to uphold, to watch the decay of the world with a front row seat in first class. Besides that, this has been Freezer 700. See you lads next time, and don't forget to vote on the next what video we should do next.